Well, hello and welcome to Talk Time. This week, we're taking a look at the Ghana Journalists Association. This is an association which has a leadership, which is about a new leadership, which is about 1 year old. We want to take a look at this leadership, what it's been able to achieve and what it has not been able to achieve. And we'd like to take a look at the media landscape generally. How is journalism doing in Ghana? Welcome to Talk Time.
Ha! How can we have some local fast food? Baba! Me again. Let's go, Yale. Me call you, ma'am. Who hear me? Man, to me, I'm sent my friend, Doctor, when I'm crossing over. See what we swear.
Yes, malaria.
Malaria. Oh, what they say, what the router? Me copy the absence. A drone, a friend, router mixer. You come malaria, draw. And running router. So,
Gap trap and the draw ku abaso body ase. Wabo router mixture abaso. Router natural products nduane ne router mixture. Ya ye kutia a treat. Router tonic and the router life wa. Ehuru e feel slide body e feel nipadua mu. Na san support immune system no. Router de obi ase ye. FDA age dwedwe nkra to yato.
As I indicated from the very beginning, we are taking a look at the Ghana Journalists Association. We want to find out what the new leadership has been able to do and what it has not been able to do, what the prospects are for the future, and what is the landscape of journalism in Ghana like today? What are the challenges? And it's my pleasure to welcome into the studio Mr. Albert Dwumfour, President of the Ghana Journalists Association. Sir, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Yeah, comrade.
Yes, sir. So you've been in office for about a year. First of all, can you talk us through the things that motivated you to get into office?
I'm just surprised that my senior comrade is being so diplomatic today. You are my big brother. For between you and I, we don't have any diplomacy. There's supposed to be that bad leaders. So I want to feel at home, and thank you for inviting me. It is an honor to be here. I think GJA, I can say that GJA is doing well. GJA is becoming more vibrant, visible. GJA is gaining its rightful position in the country as the fourth estate of the realm. And since assumption of office, together with some of you, I've been able to achieve a lot. We assumed office at a time when the association was on the verge of collapsing. We assumed office at a time when the GJA was losing its respect in society. We assumed office after a stalemate of about almost 2 years, which was characterized by the controversy surrounding our elections. And some group of persons went to court, placed an injunction. Then we tried to have out of court settlement. We tried to go for an ADR and all that, all didn't work. So for like 2 years, nothing was happening. My predecessor, or should I say the previous administration, which I was part, ended our tenure in November 2020. And so from November 2020, where a new leadership was supposed to take over, this didn't happen. for one or two reasons. First, we attributed it to the COVID. Meanwhile, during the same COVID time, Ghana went to the polls and elected our national officers of the country. The election that saw over 70 million Ghanaians voting. We are just less than 1,000, but we couldn't. We faced a date in May 2021 that also didn't see the light of day. Then later it was characterized with court issues. But lo and behold, we were able to sail through successfully. The electorate, which is the gallant members, the gallant men and women of our great and noble association, saw the need to give us the mandate to sit on the old horse with new tricks to direct it to a bright future. So we took over, and as I know you are a senior member, when we talk of a GJA, I can say that some of you are the freedom fighters. When we want to talk about the independence and the freedom of the media we are enjoying today, some of you sacrificed. And comrade, my senior brother, I give you most of the credit, because you were one person who motivated me a lot. I remember when I was contesting, I always have to fall on you. You say, brother, you are good. Don't do this, don't do this. And I think that all this really propelled me, and it really prepared me for the position. And so when I assumed post, I had no doubt that I was going to succeed. And God be so good, we are succeeding. And let me say that as at June, in fact, we were elected on 24th June 2022. Like you said, we are just a year and a half, almost. We were sworn into office on the 30th of June. Where to start from? We were financially constrained. There were a lot of limitations, challenges, and there were a lot to be done. Quickly, we started running with the association. I mobilized my people, the team. I consulted. I did a consultation. Called on my executive. We went for a retreat. And in the history of the association, I learned that it is the very first time national executives of our noble association have gone into a conclave. Such a conclave that saw the Honorable Minister of Information, that saw all the, should I say, the veteran journalists being present, including your very self. All stakeholders came for the opening, and for me, it was a good start. So many issues came up. We put our roadmap, came out with our policies, commitment, under the circumstances, what we can do within the shortest possible time. How do we redeem the image of association and how to enhance it? And also, we also looked at, as you may know, how do we give the association a new facelift? So we discussed all that, the transformation of the association. We came out, and the strategy was that let's start paying courtesy calls on key partner institutions. So we did. We started with nothing. In fact, even the retreat was sponsored. It was fully sponsored. And I give credit to Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant apartment in Obosumase. The owner, who is Adiyebo, yes, the council, my brother, the council lawyer, George Adiyebo, he actually welcomed us, in fact, hosted us, and it was fully sponsored. We started paying the courtesy calls, and we realized that we started gaining our position. What was the intent? What was the objective for the courtesy call? First of all, to re-engage, to reintroduce ourselves, and also to share with our key partner institutions the visions of the new leadership. Also to seek advice, at least to also receive some feedback as to how the GJA has been, the relationship between these key institutions and the Ghana Journalists Association. We were able, in fact, with the courtesy calls really helped us to build momentum. And it also helps us financially, because most of these institutions were ready and committed to support the association, especially our vision.
So, now, sir, this retreat, what were some of the problems you identified as facing journalism in Ghana?
I think one of the cardinal issues that personally I campaigned on was the welfare and safety of journalists. This country, the welfare and safety of journalists. And the utmost issue is press freedom or media freedom. How to protect the independent and the freedom of the media from any institutions, individuals, group. And how to rise against such bodies or individuals who may have the intent to gag the media. And I was, in fact, I campaigned with the slogan "Journalist Life Matter," because it is very important to note that as journalists, we are the bridge or the link between the governed and the government. That is the people and those in power, the duty bearers. Because the government is on one side, while the citizens are on the other side. The bridge or the link between these two is the media. And at all times, people try everything only possible to break that bridge. And we say that under Athena, we have come to strengthen the bridge, to bridge the gap, and not to allow any person or individual to break it. And for that matter, one of the issues we actually came out with is to how to, one, go after perpetrators of press or media attack. Those who think that maybe in the past they can attack journalists in the past, journalists are attacked and perpetrators go scot-freely without facing the full rigors of the law. People who think that maybe they are beyond reproach, they are beyond the law they are not within the covers of the law, the rule of law, they are beyond the rule of law, and for that matter, they can just do anything, especially politicians, especially the security agencies who usually take the laws into their hands and think they can just treat journalists anyhow, goes go free. One of the key things how do we solve it? How do we rise against just such attackers or such should I say perpetrators of this attacks? So we decided to come out with a policy to launch something we call the Journalist Support Fund. So we decided to come out with a fund. And what the fund seemed to do is that we've realized that often in the past, most of these issues, in fact, we all know that attack on journalists is criminal. That is the first thing you should know, because once you attack a journalist and you deprive journalists from discharging his duty and all that, it's criminal. And for that matter, there should be criminal prosecution. But we've realized that in the past, over the years, these cases do not even see the light of day. Some do not even go to court. Most of the times, most of these cases have even turned to be cold cases in the books of the Ghana Police Service. Remember, as part of our courtesy calls, we paid a courtesy call to the IGP. We met with the IGP and we asked issues regarding the Ahmed Suale, that is the murder of Ahmed Suale and attack on Latif of multimedia and other issues. And all these cases were, as at that time, become court cases. So he promised that he was going to create a department to revisit these court cases and to bring it to light and make sure that perpetrators are brought to book. So we decided that, okay, there are two sides of prosecutions. We have the criminal and we have the civil prosecution. So if journalists are attacked and the police, the system, cannot hold perpetrators, cannot hold the suspect to face the full rigors of the law, to go through criminal prosecution and face conviction and all that, so as to compensate the injury caused the journalist, we will take the civil remedies. And the civil remedies is to get legal team. So that the legal team, so the idea is that one, we are going to form a team of lawyers. That's legal team department for the GJA. Most of these lawyers are even journalists, because we have among us a lot of practicing lawyers. And also to engage the services of a permanent lawyer who will be at the secretariat center, who follow up prosecutions, even being it criminal or civil, or some of these matters. So the fund is going to take off this the legal, should I say, the legal cost, and then the prosecution cost and all that. So the moment we have this idea, what were you supposed to? We were supposed to launch it, and to launch it, you needed to raise fund. You needed to call on some stakeholders and maybe some concerned Ghanaians who have the interest of journalists at heart to raise a fund to support this cause. And I think that last year we launched and it went very well. We were able to mobilize some fund, and since then we have been very, very, should I say, critical about issues of media attack and assault, and that I've seen. So far in the history, we can say that confidently that under our tenure, two cases of attacks have actually gone through the criminal prosecutions, and the perpetrators have been convicted by the court. For me, which is an improvement on the previous ones. And if I say two cases, let me highlight recently, we all know that some members purporting to be former communication director of the NDC at the Northern region, yes, attacked Dagon FM presenter on air. And the videos were all over. Yes, we took the matter up. In fact, our lawyers were there. Lawyers followed up on the case, and the police, we called the police, and the pressure we mounted, police did not have any choice than to prosecute. And I know we all saw the outcome. They were convicted and fined. For us, we were not happy, or we are not happy with the kind of punishment which are given to perpetrators of such attacks or such suspects or accusers, because those punishments are not deterrent enough. They are not deterrent enough to deter others from engaging in such acts. Recently, UTV, some youth of MPP, led by the deputy regional youth organizer, also invaded the studios of UTV and attacked presenters and panelists on the show. And we also didn't take it lightly. we came strongly on them, to the extent of even condemning statement which came from the ministry and all that, and became public discourse and all that. Why? Because we don't want to side with government, opposition, or anything. The people have reposed much confidence in me to protect their interest. And the Constitution says that the main tenet of establishing the association is to protect the welfare and interest of journalists, especially through professional development. So the UTV case, we also defined, we also saw the conviction where every member, I think there were about 24 or so people paying about 2,400. Less than 200 penalty unit. Less than 200 penalty unit. Meanwhile, the Constitution is very clear. The under the Criminal Act on such misdemeanor cases is very clear. It's between 250 penalty unit and 1,000. So how could a judge go for 200 penalty unit? Less than what has been prescribed. So we had a concern. We actually raised this concern. We came out and accused the police and questioned the police. Even the charges preferred on them, we had issues with the charges because we felt that the court of competent jurisdiction will only the court can only rule based on the charges preferred. So when the charges is weak, you don't expect any better conviction ruling. But if you go with a strong charge, you know that at least the outcome will be very strong. So we have, for me, on that aspect, in protecting the welfare, the safety of journalists, we have been able to, and the fund also seek to also support our retirees. You know, there are a lot of retirees who we know are really suffering financially. Sometimes when they come for programs, we meet them at the press center. Even before I was elected, most of the time, sometimes some of us would have to, out of our own private, we have to support some of these people, even for transportation to go back. They love to contribute, they love to be part of the association's business. They always wish that they come around, but sometimes even the transport to come out. And these are veterans, these are people who have contributed, who have sacrificed their whole life to serve this nation through journalism, through media practicing. So we need to think about all these people, because without the media, Ghana wouldn't have been where it is. We all know that under the Fourth Republican Constitution, or under the Fourth Republic, journalists played a major role even in the change of government from 2000, 2008, 2016, and it is the same as we speak. We are very much aware that 2024, the media will play a critical role, a major role as to who become the next leader of this country. So this is not an institution that should be toyed with. So we did that. Aside that, when you come to the Ghana International Press Center, which is the headquarters of the media, we promised to transform the headquarters, because look, all of us, we all go to our homes, our offices and all that. Sometimes when you leave your office or your home and you visit where you call the Ghana International, it's not just Ghana, there's international. Then you ask yourself, what is international about this office? It wasn't a place called home. I can say that it wasn't habitat enough. So we did everything possible to give it a facelift. And as we speak now, we have transformed the whole place. We have transformed. We're able to change the furniture, change the interior and everything. And everybody comes and now feel at home, because the place is now, should I say, very enabling and conducive. Even it makes working in that environment very, very lovely. So this is something that we'll be able to do within the shortest time. And we launched what we call the annual dinner night. The annual dinner night, in fact, before we assume post, we know the award, the GJA award comes with the dinner. And we tasked the first committee we set up was the awards review committee. Their responsibility was just to review the already existing awards and to make recommendations for the national executive or to the national executive. So which they did, and we realized that there are a number of categories. In fact, we had over 50 something categories. Most of them, at the end of the day, when you look at even records and statistics, some do not even get entries at all, but they were still sitting in the awards categories. Others realized that it could be merged. So we looked at all that because this was actually eating into our time. You go for GJA awards, and I know that, comrade, you have actually attended almost. I cannot count the number of awards you've been to, and you know that we start award at 6 p.m. and sometimes we leave at 1 a.m. Because by the time we finish eating, it's around 8:39. We start the program. You leave around 1 a.m. And most of these people are matured. Look at veterans like you, 70 years, 2 years, 50, 65 years. And these people would have to find their own way out. The danger, the risk poses to them. We say, no, we can't supervise, we can't superintend over such event. So we decided to decouple the dinner from the awards so that we can have two flagship events on our calendar. So the award will stand on its own. At this time around, we know journalists, if you call journalists to come for award and they will not get anything to drink, or they won't come, we know them. So we decided to, after decoupling it, okay, why don't we make it a cocktail? So at least when you come, at least even though you will not get dinner, at least you have some more chops, you have a cocktail to take. And cocktail, you can be taking cocktail while the program continues. So that would not be an impediment, yes, the program. So we decided that, and it really worked. Last year, we went live around 7:30, I think between 7:30 and 8. Within 3 hours, we're done. 11 p.m. we're done. Into this review. This year, we were supposed to go live around 4:30, but I think due to delay in attendance, people sometimes they don't. It was the first time we actually holding or having an award on a Sunday. It was the first time we have session, and the first time we also hosting it at the Accra International Conference Center. It has all been at the State Banquet Hall, and then we will move to the Moving Pick and then Kempiski. And I think one time we even had it at the forecourt of the Ghana International Press Center. So it was a new thing. The people came late, but we started around 5. By 8:39, we're done. So this is the way to go. And we'll keep reviewing it to make sure that at least we make good use of the time, of the resources. So people will not be bored. People will not just come there and then sit down and be bored and want to leave and other things. Today, the last awards, you realize that, look, the room was still full capacity even at the time of announcing the journalist of the year. So that should tell you the attractiveness dressed. So that's one thing. Then so we decouple. So we had the first annual dinner night last year that saw the president of the country actually attend gracing it, and it really went very well. The first of its kind, and we were expecting about 700 people. We ended up getting almost 1,000 people. The whole place was full to brim. By through your help and support, we got a number of ambassadors gracing this occasion, and other dignitaries, ministers of state, deputy ministers of state, businessmen like KGL, Lester Dade, Tobinko, Namo Tobin, and all of them were there. For us, and we are doing the second one. Come tomorrow, 6 p.m. at the forecourt of the Ghana International Press Center. And I'm so glad, I'm excited to say that for the second time, the president is honoring it. And we are hoping to, in fact, he said, Mr. President, if I don't even come, my vice president will come. So we are looking forward to welcoming the president or his vice. So there is something that is within 6 months, from June 30th to December. The transformation of the press center, the launch of the journalist support fund, the courtesy calls on the numerous stakeholders, partners, and all of them, the review of the awards, one of the best awards so far organized last year, the version of the annual dinner night, which saw the president gracing it and all that. Then come to this year. It's been so great. And if we want to start naming the things we have done from January to now, comrade, we need about 2 hours of your time. But to summarize it, I can say that has been good to the association. The goodwill is there. And through the goodwill, for the first time, we saw one of the remarkable World Press Freedom Day. The first time a World Press Freedom Day was more or less like a lecture. A lecture was there to read something that has not been done in the past. And there was a book exhibition. We had numerous ambassadors, we had a number of dignitaries who came and just have to tour the book exhibition, walk around to see things themselves. Some of them bought some of the books, some of them actually requested some and all that. And even the SA ambassador, South African ambassador, even presented a book to us that day. So for me, this is very, very remarkable. And right after it, I led a delegation of 5. That is 4 from the GJA and 1 from UNESCO to Lusaka, Zambia, to bid for the 3rd African Media Convention. In fact, this was the media. Let me just walk you through the AMC, the African Media Convention. In fact, as we speak, is the largest gathering of media stakeholders on the African continent. It rise or comes at the back of the World Press Freedom Day. The idea is that after the global celebration of the World Press Freedom Day, journalists, scholars, all media practitioners, stakeholders, international partners or diplomats, like a number, we have a number of them, all will gather at one place to discuss the relevance of the theme of the World Press Freedom Day, the global theme, its effect on Africa, and the role of the media. It is also to help we expand the media pluralism, the independent, to protect the independent and the freedom of the media, to ensure that press freedom is not under threat or under siege. We are not media, it's not gagged. So there are a number of objectives. So we led. The first one was held in Tanzania, in Arusha, Tanzania, by the Eastern Editors Forum. The second one, which was the second edition, was held in Lusaka, Zambia, which we attended. I led the delegation, attended, which was also hosted by the Southern Editors Forum. In fact, it was an initiative of the Southern and Eastern Editors Forum to come out with this way, and which was actually the idea was grabbed. In fact, the UNESCO liaison office in Ethiopia, also in UNESCO liaison office to the UN and AU in Ethiopia, bought into the idea, welcomed it. And I think the AU Commission also decided to partner the UNESCO. And so they joined forces with the Editors Forum in this Southern and Eastern to hold this program. It became successful. In fact, last year, I learned that they recorded more than 600 to 700 participants. The one I went in Lusaka, I can be about 500 to 600. But we were supposed to, we bid it. There were other countries. Senegal was there, Nigeria was there, the countries were there. But they wanted it to go to a different sub-region under the African continent, under the continent, because the southern and the eastern have hosted. We have been hosted, that's the western, central, northern, all of us. And there were representatives there. Everybody wanted to grab it. But we were able to put ourselves together, we were able to make a strong case for Ghana, especially with the involvement of the African Union Commission. And this was the time AU had already launched its 60th anniversary, celebrating African Union, 60 years of African Union. Why? Because we made an argument that even the establishment of the African Union was the birthright of our former president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And for that matter, it is only fair that at the time they are celebrating the 60th birthday of the African Union, we give some prominence to the hometown, to the country of the former president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We made a good case of how we have been able to protect the independence and freedom of the press. We made a good case on the Ghana being the beacon of democracy in Africa. We've made a good case on the fact that on the tourism, attractive areas and all that, the good side and then the socioeconomic benefit that Ghana brings on board, and we were able to win it. But we won it, and let me say that we also had the support of the Ministry of Information and Government before we made it, because when we were going, we were thinking a lot. Hey, but this is a very big conference. What if we go and win? Do we have the capacity? Do we have the money? Do we have the resources? So we called on the government, called on the minister. I said, Minister, this is what we are going to do. Do we have your support? He said, yes, you have our support. Yes, I've spoken to government. I've spoken to the president. The president has given his blessings. I should go. And we got the support of the Ghana High Commission in Zambia. Yes, in fact, the ambassador, a deputy, and some senior members were there to support us on the final day. And senior, so we've won the bid to be the host for the third African Media Convention. The first time it is coming to the West African sub-region. And Ghana is hosted it. And GJA won that bid. As I speak to you, today we launched it. We launched it at the College of Physicians and Surgeons. We have inaugurated the LOC. We have received a government commitment. In fact, we met with the president, who have taken charge of all the financial obligation of the host country. He has given us his full support. We firm up the date. The program will be a 3-day conference, which will begin on the 15th of May, 2024, and then ends on the 17th of May. And President assures us that he will close it, and he will open it and close it. So he's coming for the opening and the closing ceremony, which for me is not usually usual to have the president opening and closing a ceremony. So for us, we have enjoyed that support, and that does not also compromise our independence. We have been very objective, we are very independent, regardless of whatever it is. At the end of the day, these are taxpayers' money, and we all have a share in it. So it doesn't compromise our independence. So this is a massive achievement. In fact, putting Ghana on a certain pedestal, the African, the continent, or the African map. So, my brother, when we talk about the good thing, and aside even some of these things, we have brought some vibrancy. The GJA is now visible. Look at its social media presence. Before then, we thought that our responsibility was limited to only that of the traditional media, social media alone. Now, the media, we all know that the traditional media is under siege due to the emergence of the new media. The new media is emerging fast, and if we don't take it, in fact, there was a conference in Doha, some few years ago. As about 5 years ago, about 17 countries have already collapsed. Their media, their traditional media have collapsed due to the vibrancy of the new media, social media. But in Ghana, I think let me commend all media stakeholders who have taken advantage of the new media. In fact, whatever we are doing here, I know it is not only going to be telecast or transmitted live on the television, but on all your social media platforms, Facebook, whatever, you share links and all that. This is technology. We are in the digital era. So we decided that, look, why don't we take charge of both traditional and the new media? So we decided to bring together all the social media influencers, the bloggers, decided to run with them wherever we go. And as I speak to you now, we have encouraged them and they've been able to register what we call the New Media Association under the supervision of the GJA. So this is the kind of leadership and transformation we have brought to the association.
Well, viewers, we are in a conversation with the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. We are looking at the past year, what has happened and has not happened, and what progress may have been made. We'd like to take a short break here, and when we come back, I'd like to find out what the Media Support Fund is looking like. Has it been successful? Have sufficient funds come in? What is it specifically going to be used for? Short break.
Trasacco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasacco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasacco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call
Welcome back to Talk Time, and we are in a conversation with President Albert Dwumfour of the Ghana Journalists Association. So you mentioned that you set up a media or journalist support fund. How is the fund doing?
So you have to say that we are in a conversation with your junior brother. You don't need to say President Albert Dwumfour. He made me. In fact, today I'm a president because of this man and some few others who had so much confidence in me. He told me, you can do it, but you have my support, you can do it. Am I lying?
Master, the fund, how is it doing?
Okay, so I think that so far, so good, but we haven't, I can say that we still have a long way to go. We can't have a one-time fundraising and expect the fund to survive. We launched it last year in November, and since the launch, we haven't received any kobo after the launch. And so whatever we realized from the launch is what we have been able to manage and all that. We intend to do fundraising for the fund in the first quarter of 2024, where we may call on people like you all to come and help, call on influential and maybe successful businessmen, entrepreneurs to all come together and then support the fund. Because any move we made, look, internally, we need to pay the legal team. Here, even on the UTV case and all that, we assign lawyers to follow up. You know, sometimes in criminal prosecution, you can have lawyers who do, they call it, I think the legal term, yes, they will also follow, even though it is being prosecuted by the state. They will still be monitoring, because then they will advise that, okay, where it is going, whether it is even on, they will advise on even the preferred charges. Because it was through this legal team that we got to know that the charges preferred against the perpetrators of the UTV invasion were all weak. Because there were almost over 10 charges the police could have preferred. The police decided to choose the weaker ones. And so I would say that there's more than we need more to do more. And in order to sustain the fund and to ensure that our objectives are really achieved, we need to consistently or constantly do what we call fundraising to make sure that we are able to sustain this fund. So we intend to do one at the first quarter of next year. So I think that so far the fund has really been helpful. Yes, but there were some pledges. I think that even though it's not good for me to mention them, but there's some pledges which have still not been redeemed. You know, there's some who pledged publicly, but have not redeemed, and this all affecting the survival of the fund.
Mr. President, are there some things that you would like to do or you'd have wanted to do which you haven't done?
Yes, because see, there are a number of them. So far, I think that one of the things I campaigned against, one of the things I stood for, is transparency and accountability. I've tried as much as I could to make everything transparent, but I think that I have not been able to achieve that part of accountability. Something I am doing everything within my means to make sure that we are able, per the constitutional dictate. The Constitution says that before the end of the first quarter, we must call AGM. So as I speak to you now, I am working so hard with my executive to go into a conclave, even before the new year, to look into our report, our financials, status, because there are two things. The physical is good. The physical is good. Everybody say we are doing well, we are swabbing, like we are receiving applause, we are commendation and all that. But the fiscal, FYSCAL. So that is where we are. So I sit back and say that, look, these are things I preach against. And so I need to do everything possible to make sure that I don't fall short of these things. So in fact, it's one of my fears. And I'm working assiduously to make sure that at least by the end of the first quarter next year, 2024, we're able to render account and we're able to account for our stewardship since we took over to the vulnerable men and women who we post much confidence in us and gave us the mandate, said affair, that even though we are doing well, this is what this is what this is what you gave us. And this is what we have been able to use it for. You understand? Yes. And so so that the transparency and leadership policy or what we preach will be complete. Again, aside that, membership ID card, this has become very challenging. In fact, first we had a partnership with an institution who promised to do a digital ID card, a multi-purpose card for us. But after some time, we realized that couldn't work. It was just, should I say, empty noise and all that. So we had to advise ourselves. And I'm working very hard with, we have gotten 3 institutions we are engaging, and we are very hopeful that before the AGM next year would have made some positive strides in that regard. Again, one of the issues is to make the regions very vibrant. Something I also campaigned, preached on that. I've been able to do that. In fact, these are vibrant, but not to my satisfaction. There are more to be done. We need to look at even the offices, regional offices. Some of the regions do not even have office at all. We need to look at supporting them with logistics and all that. But like I said, we have had little, but we have done many. We've been able to put into good use the little resources we've been able to mobilize. So these are all things that I'm looking at. We are looking at health insurance policies for members. You understand, especially as we go into election 2024. What are some of the when you attack in the line of duty? You understand, at least you should have some head cover. We know that journalism, one of the things which really affect. In fact, statistics or reports as that most of our colleagues dies from blood pressure, heart attack, and all that. So we want to join forces with a mutual company, or we have to have a health policy, insurance for journalists, so that journalists will make it, should I say, a point, will make it as a part of, should I say, as part of a practice to visit the hospital at least twice a year to check yourself, even if you are not, you don't need to be sick before you go to the hospital. Because you and I know that sometimes we are not sick, but we visit our doctors. Yes, I remember you recommended a very good doctor to me some time ago. So you don't need to be sick, because sometimes when it gets there and the situation is worse, it becomes very difficult for you to be cured. So we want to look at all that, and also we want to look at an association. We want to build an association that has the utmost respect from the other three organs of the state. An association that commands respect, authority. An association that is really seen to be the fourth estate of the realm. An association that cannot be trampled upon. The media, once we come out, once we speak, people will not take it for granted. This is the kind of association we want to build, to gain that respect, not only in Ghana, West Africa, the African continent, the whole, and even the world. We want to be the enviable choice among our peers when it comes to the unions and association. And this is the kind of association I want to build.
Now, Mr. President, final question. Would we ever find the killers of Ahmed Swali?
I've laughed about this question because I know why if we can find killers and murderers of, should I say, of murder cases that have no traces, cases that did not even leave any traces, cases I just want the best context to put it. If we're able to find killers, we have been in this country where the police have done a whole lot of magic. Sometimes, even when we are in a state of fear, they give us hope. Our police service, I can tell you that, is one of the best we have, if not in the world, in Africa. No, they look what happened in Ashama. The military went in, attacked ordinary civilians, beat and injured innocent Ghanaians. The police went in with precision because they had what we call intelligence. So, in terms of intelligence gathering, in fact, between you and I, both institutions, the media and the police, we almost do the same work. We gather the raw data or raw materials, and then we do what? The raw materials, we gather it, transmit it as news or whatever. The police gather these raw materials and they transmit it as intels. So the same information we gather, the same raw material, the same information we gather, and we transmit as news to inform and educate the public. They gather the same information and they use it as intelligent. So I can tell you that if the police and the Attorney General that has the constitutional mandate to prosecute under the criminal jurisprudence is really willing to really take up their constitutional mandate and be sincere and honest to the people of Ghana, they will bring out the killers of Ameswali.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you so much. Well, viewers, have been talking to Mr. Albert Dwumfour, who is the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. I've been talking about first year in office. As a matter of fact, they've been in office for about 18 months. What they've been able to achieve and the difficulties ahead. I hope all of us have learned a thing or two about journalism and the Ghana Journalists Association. We'll meet again next week, but until then, please stay with us. And stay with us because we bring you the best in everything. Bring you the best in current affairs, best in news, best in sports, best in entertainment. Please stay with us and you would not regret it.
I also want to question the police and Attorney General. Why haven't they briefed us on Ameswali's death till now? It's been over 5 years. Why haven't they briefed us? If they've not found the perpetrators or the killers, at least whatever investigation they've done, they owe it a duty to the public, if not even to the media, to the Ghanaian population or the populace in this country, to brief us as to the state of investigation and what they've come out with. We will charge them. We will continue to amplify our volume, our voices in this regard, and call on the Attorney General, who recently made a comment in this regard, to brief us the state of investigation on the Ameswali's issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtains, and it's goodbye from all of us at Pan-African Television. In fact, George Viner, producer of the show, Sewa, who directed the show, and Lydia, floor manager. We'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.